Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Elise, and in today's video I will take you through my budget closeout for the month of August. If you have seen my budget with me video for this budget, then you know that I said at the end of the month I would also take you over my actual numbers, and that's what I'm gonna do today. I am a student living in the Netherlands, so excuse me if my English is not always on point. I hope you will bear with me, and please correct me if I say anything wrong. Now, without further ado, I would just like to get into it. So, I have these government benefits. I explained that I have two of them, which combine to 487. Actually, this ended up being a little bit more. So I had €5 extra, so that came to 492. I have decided to do my actual numbers in black just so you can see the contrast between what I budgeted for and then what I actually got. So my student loans are normally the biggest portion of my income, and they are €1,023. I know that it's pretty much always the same, so that was not a big surprise. The big surprise happened here for my teaching assistant job. For the month of August, I received my last paycheck from this job because my contract has ended. And I budgeted €550 for it because that's what I normally get. But I actually got €1,043. So almost double of what I budgeted for. I am really happy with that because it gives me a lot more money to work with towards my sinking funds. And yeah, I'm just really, really excited for that. I did not expect it to be this high at all. I also don't know exactly why it is. I think it was because it was the end of my contract and then they give you some sort of bonus or something. But either way, I am really happy with that. And I also explained that my bartending job doesn't normally have shifts during the summer, but I actually did end up getting one shift and I had €60 of income from that. Also, I did have some other sources of income that I did not budget for. So the biggest one was actually stamps. I don't know how else I could explain it, but where I do my groceries, for every euro that I spend, I can buy a stamp for 10 cents. And then when you have 490 stamps, so that's €49, it'll give you a interest rate of, I don't know, 6% or something. So you can get some interest on like the groceries that you're buying. And I always make use of that program because why not? And I obviously did not budget anything for this, but I did have it paid out because I wanted to use this money towards having I've completely forgot the word. Investment account. Yeah, I wanted to open an investment account and put some extra money towards investing. So that's what you will see I use that money for the investment account. I also had some other sources of income. I got some money back from some transportation costs that I made, and I sold some festival tickets because I did not want to go anymore. And that added up to being €120 that I got for the festival tickets. And then I got €26 back on transportation. So that totals 146. So as you can see, I have a lot more money in actuality than I budgeted for. Let's add all of them up. So I'll go from bottom to top. Plus 60 plus 1,043 plus 1,023 plus 492. So that totals 3,180 euros in total, which is a lot of money for me. So my bills are normally pretty much the same. I did end up spending this money, 16. I'm leaving tuition open because I will explain that in a bit. All my other bills were the same. Oh no, not all my other bills were the same. Also Spotify was not the same. So tuition, I normally pay quarterly. No, not quarterly. Every other month, I think. I have to pay my tuition and I always start saving up for that. But because I have so much more money than I anticipated, and next month will not be as generous with money, I think I'm actually gonna already put some extra money towards tuition. So for the month of September, I can just put a little bit less towards it. So let's see, I think instead of 110, I did definitely pay that already, but I'm just gonna throw extra 60 euros towards that. So that makes 170. So next month I only have to pay 50. So it gives me a little bit of wiggle room for other expenses and savings. And then for Spotify, I actually paid 10 euros, not because my subscription was more expensive, but because I paid it twice. This month was kind of an experiment for me. Normally, I get my first income on the 20th of the month, but I don't want to budget on the 20th and then on the 24th or the 25th when I get my student loans, and then again and then again. So I decided to have my budget from the 25th till the 25th. And that meant that my Spotify bill that comes out on the 22nd actually had to be paid twice. So just for you to know. Now let's all add up these numbers. So that's 868 for rent. 868 plus 28 plus 170, 16. So that equals 1,237 euros. And that leaves us with, take the income minus the expenses, 1,943 euros. Let me check if that is right. Yeah, that is right. So let's move on to my variable spending. I did end up spending a bit more on groceries, so I think for the upcoming month, I will budget a bit more for it as well. I spent 235 euros instead. For transportation, I spent 29 euros, so I have 1 euro left. Miscellaneous, I only end up spending 5. And then I decided to give myself some extra pocket money because it is summer and I wanted to do some more activities. And since I got a lot more income than I anticipated, I thought that would be fine. So I gave myself 50 euros extra. The money that I have left over from transportation and from miscellaneous, I do end up allocating towards my sinking funds and savings. So let's add these up. We have 235, 29, 5, 150 equals 419. And that leaves us with, let's see, 1943 minus 419, 1,524 euros to put towards sinking funds and savings. So that's a lot of money, and I have to say I'm really happy about getting that extra income. I call this municipal tax, but I think actually the correct wording is council tax. This one is for 2021, so that is last year, and I did not need to save any more than 80 bucks for that, so that'll just be 80. Travel normally gets 75, but I decided that I wanted to up that a little bit just because I can, and I wanted to make the total amount a round number. I'm not going to show you what the round number was, but yeah, that's why I decided to up it a little bit to 119 euros. Let me deduct these so we have, yeah, so we have 1325 to work with. As I mentioned, I opened an investment account to have some more, interest on my money, because right now in my savings account, I'm not getting anything. And I decided to use this money towards investment as well. I did put the 100 euros towards it initially. And then I decided to add 400 from the stamps and an additional 100 just from the rest of the income. So in total, I decided to put 600 euros towards investment. And that leaves us with 725. Home, I think I'm also going to put some extra towards, because I do want to buy a TV and I still need to buy a dining table. I do have a table right now, no worries, but I just want to get a different one that fits more in the aesthetic of my house. So let's see, we have 725 to work with. I think I'm gonna put, let's say the actual number is 125. So we have 600 left to work with. Then the dentist for this year, I budgeted 50 euros. I don't need any more for that, so I'm just gonna leave it at 50 as well. Let's deduct that. That means we have 550 left. I mentioned this was the healthcare contribution, but I think you actually call it the deductible from your health insurance. So I might change that in my next budgeting videos. And I need 385 euros for that for next year. So I decided that I didn't like the 148 and I just made it 250 euros. And that means we have 300 euros to work with. I actually already did my budget closeout because I already received the money for next month. But normally what I do is I make a budget up front, then I budget my paychecks, and that's also what I'm going to do on this channel. So you can see like when the money comes in, I'm actually going to allocate it to where I want it to be. And then my monthly budget closeout is just having the monthly overview of where all of my money went. So another sinking fund that I have is gifts. I did not budget anything for this because it's not really a priority for me. But I did end up putting 75 euros towards that because it was my birthday and I wanted to have some extra money for that. And I also have holidays. We don't really celebrate Christmas or anything like that, so I don't need a lot of money for that. I just decided to put an extra 5 euros in that, and that left me with 220. And then the last sinking fund that I decided to put money towards was the dentist for next year, just to have that closed out as well. So dentist 2023, obviously did not budget anything for that. And I want 100 euros for that. And that leaves me with 120. that I decided to put towards my buffer. I am not actively building my buffer because it is currently at an amount that I feel comfortable with. But since I had a lot of extra money, I decided it would be good to put something towards my buffer. And then, as we can see, we come out to 0, meaning that our total for all of these categories equals 1,524. As I mentioned, I do not have debt that I need to pay off yet. And so I can just leave that out basically. But if you do, you could also decide to put some extra money towards that. Now, I do want to do the budget summary just to show you how I did this month. And then that rounds it off. So the budget summary, I'm just gonna write down the categories: fixed expenses, variable expenses, sinking funds, and savings. And savings, yeah. So you could also write your debt here, obviously, but since I don't have any, I'm not gonna do that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the actual number, divide it by my actual income, which is 3,180, and times 100, so you get the percentage. I don't know why it did that. So let's do it again. 1237 divided by 3,180 times 100. So my fixed expenses were 38.9% of my actual income. Yeah, they were 1,237. Variable expenses for 19, and then sinking funds and savings 1524. So let's do it for these numbers as well, times 100. So this was 13.2%, and then the remaining should be for sinking funds. So that is 1524 divided by 3,180 times 100. And I have to say, I am really happy with that number. Meaning that I saved almost half of my actual income, which is a lot. But just to be sure, let's add up these numbers. I really hope this works out, because otherwise I did something wrong. Yeah, so that equals 100, and that leaves us with 100% of my expenses accounted for, and all of these expenses should equal to my total actual income plus 1524, and that is also correct. So that means we have closed out the budget for August. I want to thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, suggestions, or just remarks, please leave a comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you here. My next video will be my monthly budget for September. And from September onwards, I will also do my budget by paychecks and my cashless stuffings. So if you want to see that, please follow along on my journey. And just before I let you go, please remember that you are good enough as you are. And I really hope that today makes you feel like that is true. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.